At the beginning of the movie we see a boy named Jeremy who is at a school prom night. He goes to the single girls of his class and asks them to dance with him, but since he is unattractive everyone rejects him. And not only that, they keep saying embarrassing and horrible things to Jeremy. Then he goes to a girl named Dorothy who is sitting alone. He invites Dorothy to a dance with him and she accepts it. Later they both started kissing. Then some of their classmates comes to there and sees them and start to tease them. Dorothy then gets embarrassed and suddenly starts to blame Jeremy, saying that he forced and that is why she is doing this. Then the other classmates starts to beat him and strips him naked. While they are beating him, the other classmates kept encouraging the bullies instead of saving Jeremy. The following scene shifts to 13 years later where we see one of the school girls from before named Shelley is on a date with a man named Jason. Shelley gets irritated of Jason and she is trying to end the date soon and leave the place. While they are going, Jason asks Shelley for a kiss to end the date perfectly, but Shelley brushes of his efforts and tells him to consult a psychiatrist instead. Later she goes back to her college and starts doing an autopsy. When she is about to cut the corpse she hears some noise and goes to check on. When she goes to the locker room she gets startled by one of her classmates. He asks her if she is alone at this time and Shelley says she has to complete the autopsy practice. After he left, Shelley sees an envelope for her and sees a card in it, which says that she will be killed. Later she goes back to the lab and when she is about to dissect the corpse it suddenly starts to move. Shelley gets scared and then she finds her lab corpse in another room. She gets scared and picks up a scalpel and while looking around someone grabs her from behind. But she manages to escape from him and goes into the morgue to hide. The killer breaks into the morgue and checks all the bags and finally finds Shelley, and then he slices her throat and kills her. Then we see blood is dripping from his nose similar to Jeremy when he is excited or scared and hints that it is Jeremy. In the next scene we see Paige and Kate goes to a restaurant to get a date. Even though Kate is reluctant, saying she hasn't completely broken with her boyfriend Adam, Paige tells she will soon break up cause of his drinking addiction. After meeting with all the guys they all ends up choosing Paige over Kate. Later while they getting out of there they get a call from Dorothy about Shelley's death. Later while they are at the funeral Kate meets with Adam and he tries to get back to her. He tells her that he is working on his drinking addiction and he hasn't touched anything for a while. He talks with her for a while and asks her out for a dinner. At first Kate seems to be reluctant but she agrees in the end. Then all the girls gets ready to leave and soon a detective named Vagan approaches them to ask about Shelley. They tells that they haven't seen her in a year cause she is busy with the med school, and he asks about her date Jason who is now missing, which they don't know about. Then he hands over his card to Paige telling them to call him if they knows anything. After getting to home Dorothy sees a Valentine card for her which is similar to the one Shelley got. After reading it Dorothy thinks someone is trying to pull a prank on her. Then she hears the doorbell ring and when she answers it Dorothy sees a guy named Campbell who she knows from her gym class. Campbell tells her about his situation, saying that he got kicked out of the room cause his roommate didn't pay the rent, and says he doesn't have a penny cause he invested everything and asks for her help. Dorothy, who has a liking for him, lets Campbell stay at her house. Later while having a shower Kate senses that someone is there in the house. She goes to look over and couldn't find anyone, and after noticing the door is open Kate goes out to check, and then she finds the mask of Jeremy at the lift's door. Later at Lily's place she hears the doorbell ring and goes to answer it, but after answering the door she sees no one. Then she sees a letter and a chocolate box left at the door. At first she thinks that this is from her boyfriend. She reads the card and after looking at the initials JM she thinks it's for Paige. When Paige denies that it's not hers Lily eats the chocolate, and while eating she notices some bugs in it. After a while they start to think on who JM might be. They both think about some names and then Paige says Jeremy's name. But Lily thinks he can never be able to do this and they don't even know where he is now. Later they go to party and Kate tells Paige about what happened earlier, saying someone entered her apartment. Then Lily brings her boyfriend to introduce him to her friends. Later Paige sees Campbell and approaches him. While they are talking Dorothy gets to them and introduces Campbell to her friends. Later while Max and Lily are making out a girl named Amy arrives there. When Lily sees her and tells her to get out of there Max says he is the one that invited her here. Lily gets irritated about this and gets out there. While walking away she gets lost, and then suddenly she gets shot with an arrow by Jeremy. He then shoots 2 more arrows onto her making her fall out of the top into the trash and Lily dies. The next day the 3 friends were called by Detective Vaughn and he shows them the card sent to her parents. When they open the card they see Jeremy's name on it, and they understands that Jeremy is the one trying to kill them. When Vaughn asks why Jeremy wants to kill them, Dorothy tells about the incident she had with him when they are in 6th grade. Later, while leaving Vaughn's place, Dorothy gets panicked thinking she is the next target. When Paige asks her what really happened, Dorothy tells that Jeremy didn't force her, and says she got embarrassed after the other find her with him and she lied about Jeremy attacking her. But Paige brushes it off, all saying that Jeremy is not capable of plotting an intricate revenge after all this time. Later, Kate goes to check to see if she is able to find any information on Jeremy, but she couldn't. Then suddenly Adam startles her from behind. When Kate asks why he is here, Adam reminds her about the dinner date they had. Kate apologizes him for not making it out, saying she is busy. Then Adam walks her back to her flat, and while on the way, Kate tells him about all the Jeremy issue. Next day, they three are called to the police station by Detective Vaughn, and he tells them about what happened to Jeremy since the incident. He tells after the incident he was sent to a reform school and then sent to a juvenile hall a year later, and then to the mental hospital 6 months later, and tells they don't know where he is, and also says his parents died a couple years ago due to a fire accident. Later he asks about them and their boyfriends. Kate tells about Adam and says he is no such person cause she knows him for a while since they are working together for a long time. When he asks Dorothy, she tells about Campbell and assures he is not Jeremy. Next day, on the Valentine's Day, Adam gets to Kate and asks if they can go to date for Dorothy's party this night, and Kate accepts his proposal. After getting back to the apartment, Kate sees that Paige is in there, and Paige complains to Kate about Vaughn, saying after they left he tried to seduce her. Then they gets a call from Dorothy and she informs about Campbell being questioned by the police. When Kate says the same happened to Adam, Dorothy tells them the police told Campbell not to leave the town. Later, Campbell gets to Dorothy and gives her a chain as a Valentine gift. After a while, when Campbell is on a call, Dorothy calls him and asks him a favor to light the pilot of the heater in the basement. Campbell gets to the basement and he lights on the pilot. After he is done, he then suddenly gets attacked by Jeremy and he kills Campbell. Later that night, while at the party, Kate gets to Dorothy, who is sitting alone, and Dorothy gets sad thinking that Campbell has dumped her, and Kate tries to console her. Later, while Paige is dancing alone at the party, a man approaches her and Paige invites him to dance with her. While they are dancing, the man tells Paige that he got a surprise for her and he takes Paige to a room. After getting to the room, he shows Paige his gun and tries to make out with her. Then Paige makes him get undressed and ties him to the bed and also blindfolds him. Then she picks up a burning candle and pours the wax on his gun and leaves from there. Back at the party, Campbell's ex-girlfriend comes to the party looking for him. When she sees the necklace on Dorothy, she tells that is hers and asks Dorothy to give it back. But Dorothy throws out her from there. Meanwhile, Lily's boyfriend Max approaches Kate and asks her if she know where Lily is. When Kate tells she is in LA, Max tells her she never reached there and he even called her office to check on. Kate gets confused after hearing this. After a while, Campbell's ex goes to his room and steals a watch from him. While she is getting down, she sees Jeremy dragging out a woman he killed. After getting scared, she hits him with a cue and runs into a room to hide herself. After waiting for a while, she comes out of the room and tries to escape from there. But Jeremy catches her and throws her onto a glass, and then he kills her by pushing the broken glass down her throat. Then Kate gets to Dorothy and tells her about Lily. While they are going to Paige to ask if she knows anything, Kate sees Adam, who has been drinking. She gets into a fight with him and gets out of there. Later, while Kate is at the pool chilling, she senses someone is in there, and she goes out to check on them. Suddenly Jeremy comes from behind and pushes her into the pool and locks it up. While she is struggling, he uses a drill to hole up Paige. After Paige gets hurt, he throws the drill into the water, making Paige dies by electrocuting. After a while, when Dorothy and Kate are talking, Dorothy suddenly starts to talk about Adam, saying Adam could be Jeremy. Hearing this, Kate gets angry and she starts to accuse Campbell of being Jeremy. They both get into a fight and Dorothy walks out of there. Then Kate goes out and there she finds a decapitated head in the fountain. Kate then starts to run to Paige and Dorothy. After getting in, Adam approaches her and he starts acting strange. This scares Kate and she starts to suspect that Adam might be Jeremy. Then Kate kicks him in his family jewels and runs from there. She gets to room where Paige is in and sees her dead. She then runs into Dorothy's father's room and breaks a glass and takes a gun out of it. She goes to upstairs and when she opens a door, Jeremy runs onto her and they both falls down from the stairs. When Jeremy suddenly wakes up again, he gets shot by Adam. After being saved by Adam, Kate goes to apologize Adam for doubting him. When they remove the mask to look at his face, it turns out to be Dorothy. Later, while they are talking, Kate gets sad about her friends' deaths and Adam consoles her. Then we were shown that blood is dripping from Adam's nose, hinting that he is Jeremy, and she just framed Dorothy. He killed everyone and left Kate cause she is the only one nice to him since the beginning.
And that's it. What are you waiting for? Subscribe the channel to see more recaps, and don't forget to like the video, and click bell icon to see more videos. Have a good day.